What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Smart Student. My name is Chelsea Seaburn. I'm gonna get right to it today because I have a hefty goal for this video, a tall order if you will, and that is to decrown the good old literature review. But what do I mean by this? Well, you see, the literature review is by far the assignment that students come to me the most with. I don't understand, I just don't get it, help me please, I don't know what to do. So by crown, I'm talking the crown of frustration, because did you know that frustration is the #1 response to things you don't know? So there it is. My open letter to you today is that after watching this full video, you will have a better understanding, dare I say it, a full understanding of what a literature review is. But on your mark, get set, oh boy. Okay, so here's how this video is going to work. This is video number 1 out of a 2-part series. This video is going to lay the foundation that you need to understand literature reviews, because in the second video coming out next week, which I'll link down in the description below, that video is gonna be a full tutorial walking you through exactly how to write that literature review. So it's very important that you watch this one first, because this is gonna make literature reviews crystal clear for you, because I'm gonna uncover why they're so confusing for students, the common mistakes that students make because of that confusion, and then I'm gonna give you my best tip that simplifies the literature review, which is how you learn to write them fast. Okay, so let's jump in. Now, I hate to go all Merriam-Webster on you, but by definition, a literature review is a comprehensive synthesis of the previous research that's been done on a topic. Cool. The reason they matter is because your understanding of the previous research on a given topic helps you make a decision on where to position your research moving forward. Now, that seems simple enough, but cue the confusion. It's still the #1 assignment that confuses students the most. So here's how I see a literature review. Okay, you have a topic. Now, there's previous research that's already been done on that topic. So your job is to go find those resources, usually in the form of articles. And when you're reading those articles, you're analyzing them. So essentially, you're pulling all of that current research apart so you can put it all back together again with your insight, aka a synthesis, aka a literature review. The reason you do this is so that you know which gap to fill, the new angle you'd like to approach this topic from, where you'd like to add your new take, albeit in the form of an opinion, an argument, new conclusions, new findings, you name it, but you know where to position that at. And so that right there is the sum total of what a literature review is supposed to do. Think of it as simply an audit or an inspection. That's all. So again, I know that sounds simple enough, but again, cue the frustration, cue the confusion, because I find that even after giving students that understanding of a literature review, the same thing still happens. It's, okay, I get what you just said, but I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. And that's why I've created this video, is because I want to tackle the topic of a literature review, not from giving you the definition, but from where the confusion lies, because I believe that's going to give you the clearest picture. And so the nutshell version of where the confusion comes from a literature review is in the language of the literature review, both in formatting and in writing. Now, let me explain. Okay, so let's take a step back for a second. Let's look at academic writing from a whole. So academic writing in general is based off you demonstrating your knowledge on a topic. The first step is always the same. You have your topic, you research, and you analyze that topic. You then usually paraphrase and add your own take based off that research to create an entirely new piece of writing, to create a new piece of literature. Are you with me so far? Now let's talk about a literature review, because a literature review, the process is almost identical to academic writing. However, the end result is the exact opposite, because instead of you demonstrating your knowledge on a topic, you're now demonstrating other people's knowledge on a topic. The first step is still the same. You have that topic, you research, and you analyze that topic. But instead, This time, instead of paraphrasing it to make it your own material, you are synthesizing that research to create a summary of other people's work. And that summary is the finished product. That is the new piece of writing, or in this case, the new piece of literature. Because of this, the language you use to write and the language you use to format is different. That language goes against the traditional language you would use with any other piece of academic writing. Now, the language in a literature review is what I like to call referring language or linking language. No, this is not an official term. It's what I like to call it because it reminds you of what you're supposed to do. You see, when you're writing your literature review, you need to constantly refer back to the sources that you found your material in, or you need to link everything you're writing back to the authors who wrote those sources. Am I making any sense right now? If I am, be sure to give this video a thumbs up so I know I'm on the right track. And by the way, if you struggle with academic writing as a whole, I have this awesome template that I created specifically for you guys because it compiles all of my academic writing lessons together in a downloadable template. I'll link that in the description below. But let's go ahead and move on. So a literature review can either be a standalone assignment or part of a larger assignment like a research paper. This is another really great way to grasp onto what a literature review is and why you do it. Because for many of you, when that day comes, your professor sits you down and says something like, "I'm sorry, Sally, but it's time. I need you to write that literature review." It's the worst day of my academic life. But for many of you, when that inevitable day comes and you're assigned your first literature review, it's usually in the form of a research paper. So I want you to think about this. When you write your literature review in a research paper, ask yourself, where is it located? Where are you supposed to put that literature review? Well, it goes right after the introduction. It literally always goes right after the introduction, nowhere else. You would never put your literature review in the middle of your paper or towards the end of your paper. Why do you think that is? It's because it's the last piece of your paper that gives your reader the understanding of your topic before you introduce your new research. So think about an introduction. An introduction usually provides background information and context on the topic, and then the literature review, you're providing the reader with a summary of what's currently known on the topic, so that way all of your new information makes logical sense. Now, I believe this is why literature reviews, they feel strange when they're written as a standalone assignment, but when they're written as a part of a research paper and you recognize that, the purpose feels natural. You understand why you're doing what you're doing, which significantly helps in writing those literature reviews effectively and fast. So now let's get into those two common mistakes that students make when it comes to literature reviews. And the first one is trying to reinvent the wheel. Because like I just discussed, the way we're taught to approach all other academic writing is through originality. So we're taught that the purpose of our research is to look at something from a new angle, look at it from a new perspective, identify what our opinion is on it, and then take a stance, make a claim, make an argument, create a strategy, create a recommendation. We're taught to create something original and new. And you see, that's not the purpose of a literature review. The only purpose, the only new thing that you're supposed to create is that synthesis that summarizes what other people have already said about this topic. So you're off the hook for reinventing the wheel here. And that leads me right into the second mistake, and that is valuing quantity over quality. You see, I think when students hear that they have to create a work solely based off other people's work, they naturally overshoot. They think something like, I need to research this topic, everything that's currently out there on this topic, and write a paper on it. I need a lot of sources to do that. I know me personally, when I saw my first example of a literature review, I saw all of those in-text citations and I thought, oh my goodness, they are using a new source every sentence, every few sentences. So that must mean that I need to go find a lot of sources. This is not the case because Yes, every sentence uses quote-unquote an in-text citation, but that's that referring language I was talking about. However, don't mistake the referring language for being news sources every single time. Quality is much more important than quantity here. Something else I would like to note about quality over quantity is that I can't tell you how many sources you need. I actually get asked this a lot and I wish I had an answer for you, but the truth is every literature review is different and therefore the amount of sources you need will be different. But here's my advice for you. One, if you have a citation count, go off that. But if your professor does not provide any citation count for you, it's the same as any other academic writing piece, and that is to use the appropriate amount of citations you need to fulfill the topic. So you know how professors hate when you add in unnecessary words, phrases, and sentences because it's fluff? Well, the same thing applies to a literature review, except the fluff in this scenario is adding in sources that serve no purpose. In other words, it's just fluff to lengthen your review. So now let me give you my advice, my trick, if you will, for simplifying literature reviews so they become so easy to write. All right, so let me know if you can relate to this, but you receive your assignment, you have your topic, and you just stare at it. It's that deer in the headlights staring at your topic thinking, okay, how the heck am I supposed to review this? My advice to you is to take the school factor out of it. Take the literature review out of the literature review. And so for example, let's apply this to a job. Let's say you work for a consulting agency, it's a small firm, there's about 15 employees, and one day your boss comes to you because business is booming, so he comes to you with a project. And that project is, he wants to buy new laptops for all the employees in the office, and he wants you to research all the current laptops there are out there right now so that he can make an informed decision. What do? You're most likely gonna start by hopping online because that's where all the sources are that's going to give you this information. There's a good chance you'll have a list of questions that you want specific answers to, things like price, quality, longevity, and so on. But you're gonna hop online and start your research. And as you research, there's a good chance that you're gonna create summaries on the various contending laptops you find so you can write that report later for your boss. Shoot, you may find this excellent article straight from a review website like Wirecutter, and what this article has done has researched, analyzed, and summarized for you. Which, by the way, does this look familiar? A list of reviews? A list of summarized sources written out in a review like this? That's a real-world annotated bibliography, which is often the precursor to a literature review. But now you have this list of summarized reviews, annotated bibliography. What you would do next is take that list of reviews and compile it, synthesize it into one report that you could give to your boss. Your boss would then have the full understanding of the current state of knowledge of the best laptops on the market right now in 2021 so they can make an informed decision. Now that wasn't so bad, was it? Imagining that you're writing a report for your boss or you're researching something for yourself, I find really helps pull apart those abstract feelings of academic literature review from the literature review, because quite frankly, the process of writing a literature review, the purpose of a literature review, is something we do in everyday life. It's something you will do for a job if you haven't already. It's something you do for yourself when you want to find out information to make an informed decision. So I hope that helped put a literature review into perspective for you, because when I looked at it this way, it really helped everything click into place. And so keep in mind, next week, we're gonna take this full understanding and dive right into a real example tutorial on writing out the literature review. This tutorial is primarily gonna be focused on simplifying the referring language, that linking language for you, because again, that is what I find confuses most students. So if you can master the understanding, which I hope we did here, and then in the next video, master referring language, literature reviews are gonna be a no breeze for you. But that's gonna be it for today. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more videos like this every week. Bye guys.